back, Athlete Builder. This time it's just Jim and Lucas today. No guest. We've had a number of emails come in with different ideas, questions, just funny questions too. And we combine that with the fact that we had someone lined up and at the last minute we had to reschedule. And I was thinking about that when I was talking to Lucas today. I said, hey, just for the moment, something came up. A guy can't come on. He wants to reschedule. I know we only have a few hours notice. What do you think? And we're talking. And I immediately remembered that this conversation I just had with Kenny Bigby, who runs Dragonfly. It's mixed martial arts, jiu-jitsu place in Plainfield. And he's going to be on at the end of January. We're going to record with him, so you won't see his episode until February. But the point is this. I'm talking with Kenny, and when we have him on that date that worked, he's going to be out of country. He has a project where he's training folks internationally, and I said, well, we can always reschedule. And what Kenny always said, and he and I agreed immediately, he and I said, the obstacle is the way. So if this is the day and the time that we were looking at, he said, that's all right. If it's 3 o'clock Eastern here, and it's 7 hours later over across the pond, that's fine. I'll just get up and make it happen because the obstacle is the way. So true to form, but that's what we preach here a lot. We talk about a lot. Well, then we want to stay true to that mantra. And so we had a little pivot this afternoon, and we're like, hey, well, Lucas, we have these other questions we've been wanting to get to and talk about. So we thought we would we're still going to move forward, record an episode. We got some good content, some funny ideas or topics too. So just sit back and we're just going to get into it. It's going to be a little bit of Q&A back and forth and discussing different ideas. So I'm going to start with Lucas. For those that don't know, he played a number of sports growing up, but the one he excelled at most was football. He played at a smaller school, Manchester, up in northeastern Indiana. So Lucas, the first question is, at what point in time in your life, if you can remember back or roughly, like, did you start thinking, I really like sports. I want to continue in sports. I want to continue as an athlete as far as I can go. Like, sure, a 7-year-old says I want to play in the Super Bowl when they see Brett Favre or whatever. But for you, what was that like? When did you start thinking, you know what, this is something I want to keep doing?
Yeah. So whenever I was obviously really, really young, and I played baseball in first grade, kindergarten, something like that. And that I got the most improved player of the year in first grade, and then I got the MVP, the most valuable player, in the same year. And that's kind of where I was like, man, I kind of like sports and being competitive. And back then it was just all about having fun, and I had so much fun playing sports. And during that time, we moved from where I was living at to where I ended up going to high school. Didn't play sports at all from second grade up until like fifth grade. But I really enjoyed PE class. I was super competitive in PE. I was super competitive at recess. All the field day stuff in elementary school, everything I did was super competitive. And then I started playing basketball, little league basketball in elementary school, and had so much fun with that. It wasn't until one of the other team's basketball coaches, his son ended up being one of my good friends and workout partner in high school. His dad came up to my dad and was like, hey, have you ever thought about putting that kid in football? And my dad was like, oh, I've never pressured him into playing sports at all. I just figured he'd let him figure it out himself. And so they started having that conversation. Then I started playing football my fifth grade year. And, once you hit like fifth and sixth grade, you start going over to the high school and running around the track and all that. And that's kind of where it kicked off when I first started playing football my fifth grade year in high school, elementary school. I didn't know how to do anything. I was tackling on offense. Kids were all mad at me. You're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to do that. And so, figure it out. But once I figured it out, I was really, really good because all I had to do was tackle people, which was easy for me. When I was in fifth and sixth grade, I was the same height as I am now.
Oh no!
Yeah. So I was one of the
quit and then stop.
Yeah, I was one of the biggest dudes. I was probably in my prime. So it was that's kind of where it took off, was just playing sports and having fun and being competitive and being good at it. And that's where I was like, this is I like playing sports and being active, and that's
Yeah.
kind of where it took off. I was always the kid out running around. If I was outside playing, my dad was throwing the football when I was a little kid. That's what I love doing. That's what I enjoy doing. So, uh,
When you got to high
you,
school, were you like, hey, yeah, I want to see if I can play beyond high school? Or
yeah,
when did that switch occur?
yeah. So it was um, I started varsity my freshman year. That was kind of a big deal because not a lot of people started varsity where I went to high school at. Um, I remember some of the bigger names that those guys obviously did, and I remember going to the football games in elementary school when I was younger, and then playing in junior high. I was like, man, I really want to be a varsity football player. All right, so I played varsity my freshman year, and then realized I could be pretty good at this, and then uh, it wasn't until after my freshman year where I was starting to think. I saw some of these older guys go and play college. And I was like, I kind of want to go play college too. I want to. These guys are graduating, going and playing college, and seeing what they're doing after they graduate for years, and like I want to do that too. So it wasn't until I saw other guys doing it ahead of me playing college football and stuff was where that's when I was like, I think I could do this. I could probably play college football. Um, and then it didn't start getting it wasn't a real serious thought until I started really training and working out hard. And then I had some really good, after my freshman year, I had some really good seasons where I was like, I can go, I'm going to go play college football because I can, you know? Um, so that, long story short, that's kind of ended up what happened.
Is that like anything else, the more significant the reps were, the more the confidence built, like, so no one shows up and says, yeah, I'm definitely playing.
Yeah.
You're being cocky, right?
Right.
But when you know you can go play, then it's different because you earned the right to think that.
Yeah.
Me, it was different, as a little kid, I played a couple of T-ball leagues, but not much. I wasn't really allowed to play baseball until 12. Just didn't have the resources, the time, and the money, the availability or willingness to take me to practices. So I got to play some, CYO basketball growing up. But like I was this tall, I'm just under 6'3". I was 190 pounds at 14.
Yeah.
I tell a story every once in a while because my parents were dead set against football, and I get to St. Ignatius, and they're like, "Hey, are you gonna play?" I'm like, "No, I don't think so. I never played before. Didn't have it in school and grade school, and was always told not to. And so I was, fearful, cowardly going into high school. Stuck with basketball a number of years and made the freshman team, but the school I was at was, nothing short of amazing, and I was pretty mediocre. Come sophomore year, that JV team came around, and I got cut pretty quick. And next thing you know, my athletic career was over. But if I played on a little soccer league at school, I would be in the basement hitting soccer balls. And then there was just one year, I remember asking when I was playing T-ball if I could have one of those backdrop things that kind of, it's a pitch back where you throw the ball and it hits the net and bounces back at you. So whenever I was told I was actually going to be able to play in anything, I would sit there and try to practice all day, every day with anybody in the neighborhood or by myself. I thought, well, I could probably be good at this if I had some chances. I don't know. And it probably was because I was that idiot kid that would watch Rocky and think, hey, if I worked really hard, I could be that guy. Or I watch Hoosiers, and if I was a good teammate and I did those, I could be that guy. I could be on that team. And, it's one thing where you don't have the ability or chances to do these things, and then you're pumping this information in your head thinking, hey, the underdogs can win if you just keep working really, really hard.
Yeah.
And then, so the next thing you know, I'm out of sports by my sophomore year. So all I had left was there was a local gym near my house, and I went there to work out and stuff. And I met some guy that was a coach at racquetball, and he was in the military. He was in the Army. He was a head wrestling coach, big on conditioning, calisthenics, at a inner city school, John Hay High School. So inner city, a little rougher, and the coach went there to that gym to work out and train. And then he liked to play racquetball too, so I started just playing with him. And then I wanted to hire him as a coach, but again, no resources. So I got some part time jobs to help pay for that, and which I did. And so now there's no other varsity sport in high school I'm good enough to play. So I found this other ancillary like rec league type sport and racquetball, but I started playing that. I started traveling around Ohio and competing in tournaments. And then when I got to Purdue, it had a non-varsity travel sport, so I played with that for 2 years. And I traveled around the Midwest playing that, and moving up the ranks, but then had some really bad lower back injuries and never really came back from that. And so my whole sports career was over and done with pretty quick. And it was always just in the back of my head, I bet I could have done some of those things if I had some different chances or opportunities or made some different choices. So, well, I'm really blessed and thankful that in the line of work I'm in now, the last 10 plus years with the gym and working with student athletes and adults, this is essentially with my identity, living out that piece that I always wanted, didn't get. So, a big part of my why now. So I can live through other kids or adults that when they have these wins, I'm like, oh man, I had a little piece of that. So I didn't have that opportunity, but now I do, and that's what really drives me, makes me, a lot happier.
It's kind of I had a complete opposite experience in high school.
Yeah,
it was.
You sure did. You still have some of the school's records, right?
Well, yeah, I have 10 to 12 records still. Most rushing yards in a career in a season, most points in a year, most points in a game. Like, I have a lot of records. Whenever I graduated, I was in the state record books for rushing yards in a season and career, both of them at the same time. I was in the top 15 for both.
Gotcha.
I think I was like 14th and 15th of all time in the state.
A lot of carries. That's a lot of workhorse.
Yeah, I ended up having I was 3-year all-state, all-conference 3 years, all-county, all Wabash Valley. I was captain for the East-West All-Star game. It's Illinois, Indiana.
Okay.
Wabash Valley All-Star. I was a captain for that. So we had some all-county semi-state runs in track. I was part of the 4x1, 4x4. Ran 300 hurdles, believe it or not.
The short end and the hurdles.
Yeah, I worked on my technique a little bit. It was funny because anytime I lined up, I hated that race. When I first started doing it, I was good at it because I would just run as hard as I could and hope I didn't gas out by the end and face plant. So, I had a pretty good, career. And all that was accredited to really just because I knew I had to work harder and work really, really hard on speed, on strength, and everything because I was 5'7", and everybody else that was shorter than me and everybody that I could just, because I was at 5'7" in 5th and 6th grade, I knew I was going to have to keep working hard for that. And, I learned how to work really, really hard in the weight room, and that solely made the difference for me. And kind of what laid out the pathway for me, all the way up into my career was I saw the difference of what speed work and strength work and all that did for me in high school, that I could actually see from this season to this season, how much faster, how much bigger, and how much stronger, and how much it actually affected my play. Just having a way more confidence, being able to, I would throw my body into anybody at 100 miles an hour, regardless of,
right.
I just had that kind of confidence. And, I wasn't very good at basketball though. Wasn't very good at all. Should have wrestled or something. I liked playing basketball, so I played it.
You saw the big correlation from effort.
Yeah.
How it translated in the weight room. And you saw the correlation of what the weight room strength and speed would do on the actual field as you apply your skill. And those two equations couldn't be any more true. So now, fast forward, you're a strength coach up at a high school up in Fort Wayne, and you still do things that are athletic, and then you also still do things where you compete. You've done Olympic lifting, powerlifting, bodybuilding as recently as last year.
Yeah.
If you could, 1, 2, or 3 lessons that you're like, I didn't know this back then, but after being an athlete and then coaching athletes, one or two things that really kind of stand out. Hey, this is a real truism that I hold dear, and it's important. Something that you learned along the way.
Yeah. Thinking about, especially when I was in college, all my life lessons, for some reason, if I were to go back and tell myself something like when I was in college, I would probably go back and say, hey, um, focus on one thing. If you want to be good at something, focus on that. Because I tried doing so many different things in college, and I was mediocre at it all. I wasn't a very standout player when I got to college. It didn't feel the same. I didn't enjoy it nearly as much, even though I got value from it. But I wish I would have gone back and maybe said, hey, maybe if you want to focus on Olympic lifting, learn how to Olympic lift better. Because going back and focus on one thing, and if you're in football season, focus on football stuff and all that stuff. So it's and learning how to apply myself better. I wish I would have. I tell myself, hey, go apply yourself better while you're in college. Because I was a very distracted person when I was in college, and now that I've gone through college athletics and now I'm coaching, it's hey, when you get to this place that you're going, if you're trying to play at the next level, there's a lot of things that you're going to have to be able to handle, and a lot of you want to operate at a high level. I wish I would have known that more, I guess.
There's a maturity.
Learn how to apply myself.
There's a maturity piece there too. It's this big joke that God drops in your lap. Hey, you're going to be immature for a good long while. As soon as you are a very mature person, you're already physically past your prime. So you find someone that can mature early and then take the lessons to heart and apply them.
Yeah.
Then the sky is really the limit, right?
Yeah.
I can tell you, like as an undergrad, my GPA was below a 3. And when I got my MBA, it was right around a 4. I'm like, oh, what happened?
Yeah.
Did you get smarter? Not really.
Yeah.
I had some life experiences and all, but did I not go out as much and party? Absolutely. Was I more focused and driven? I got 3 kids. Yeah, 100%. I get better results. Again, same deal, right?
Yeah.
One of the things in coaching kids and adults the last 10 years, one of the big things that stands out to me is that I always thought for the longest time, when I'm looking at these, I'm watching the Fab Five of Michigan play basketball or Texas play baseball, or I'm watching the Olympics or Super Bowls, and I see these people on TV, and I used to think that there's just no way. All these people are just born that way. They're gifted. It was easy for me to trivialize the effort and all the factors it takes to get to that level. I just simply say, well, I wasn't born that way. I wasn't good enough. Someone else is born that way, and that's why they're there. And the belief I have now, things I know now, is that there are some folks that make it all the way up to the pros on talent.
Yeah.
That's now the anomaly. What I really believe now is that people that have a relentless focus and drive and some help along the way and what to do, they can get there.
Yeah.
You can lay it out. I would lay out, here's your program to get through basic training in the military, and here's what I would do, and I would bounce it off other people. So if you want to get through special forces, or if you want to get through, if you want to be at the Olympic level for this, or if you want to play the sport, if you want to be a professor at a major university, success leaves clues.
Yeah.
There's a method that's repeatable and attainable for the average person if they're relentless about it, consistently compounding the results week in and week out, that they can get there. And I used to think that was all luck or born that way. Now I believe there's plenty of ways to get there, and I could show you how. So that took me a long time to have that switch, but when I realized that you can build strength, to build speed, to build power, so you can apply your skill, well, shoot, let's just do that. Luckily, that's what we do. What's another lesson or thing that you thought, oh shoot, man, I didn't know about that? That's new. What did you learn along the way?
Man, I would say just be appreciative of what you're doing and where you're at. Not taking things for granted.
Yeah.
Essentially, I mean, those are the big things for me that stuck out. Is there's a lot of things that I just took for granted. And just because I wasn't particularly special at anything when I was especially in college, like, I had all the opportunity in the world and all the, essentially I had all the resources to be able to be good at what I wanted to be good at, and I just didn't, part of that was maturity too, um, the whole, God gave you 2 ears,
Right.
and one mouth,
Oh yeah.
I wish I would have, I think I did a pretty good job with it, but I wish I would have been better with it,
I'm still guilty of that to this day.
Yeah.
But
just
better.
being,
But better. Right.
Yeah. And I wish I would have just been, 10 toes where I was at, 'Cause I always think back whenever I probably would have done college different this way or college different this way,
For sure.
Even now, like sometimes I get frustrated with where I'm at now. And it's just like, man, just, when you achieve a goal and you lose sight of like why you were working so hard to get there, sometimes you just got to take a step back and just sit there and just be, hey, I'm thankful for what I worked for and what I've got. And that's something that I've gotten better at now that I'm older and established myself. Just being appreciative of what I have, what I'm doing, where I'm at, and being more aware of that.
I find, and bounce this idea off yourself, whenever you start a sentence with, I should have.
Yeah.
Whatever that sentence completes out to being, are you ever happy at the end of that sentence?
No.
No.
No, not at all.
So I'm going to work, make sure I don't do that anymore. So
Yeah.
I should be here, or I should be at this weight, or my business should be at this level, or I should have this many athletes, or even this podcast should have this many followers and downloads. Whatever, man. This is where you're at. You're making your efforts. You're doing what you can. You're living your life, and then you die one day. So when you have that gratitude that you're talking about, keeps you humble.
Yeah.
And it also keeps you a bit hungry that, hey, I have these things. These are great. I'm ready for what's next and keep going.
Yeah.
But if I should be here, should be there, then there's no joy after that sentence ends. So
Right.
This is where I'm at. And I'm cool with it. The other piece I used to think people were also like born with speed.
Yeah.
And some are, right? Some
Oh, yeah.
They're quicker. But if you're the Parisi Speed School, their mantra is speed is a skill.
Yeah.
Because it is.
Oh, yeah.
There are better running mechanics, and you can get stronger and more powerful to apply to make yourself faster. So, two other things picked up along the way is that you can actually just not just build raw strength, that you can build speed. And it's pretty easy when you do these things. And then the last piece was the more you work on your mental game, it's going to drive your body, and that's the whole point, because your mind drives what your body's trying to do, and your body's trying to do something in the game.
Yeah.
Which helps you win. Dunk a basketball, hit a home run, right? The body's doing these things, your mind propels you. And the more you can seek discomfort in all areas that build the athlete, the better shot you're going to have it with. So
Yeah.
that correlation didn't come until later when I'm doing some half marathons. And it's like, hey, if I just keep holding on and pushing, then I got a better shot here. I got a better chance.
Yeah.
So those are for me, a few of the big lessons in the last 10 years that people aren't just born that way. You can build an athlete, get them discomfort mentally, and then let's make them strong and fast, and see where it takes them.
Whenever I was in, makes me think about whenever I was in college, and that's when I got introduced to CrossFit when I was interning back and forth. When I would go to Unbreakable, and anytime I was off on breaks or on summers, I was always there. Learning discomfort that way. But when I would come back to the school, I would still be, I got obsessed with working out.
Mm-hmm.
I got obsessed with, because I was real high into CrossFit. So I was doing my core work. I would go in and do my strength work. I'd work out with the football team, and then I'd go back and do my Metcons and stuff like that. And I would just push through all these workouts, and it's, I could strain and work hard and suffer through all that stuff, but I didn't start getting any like actual life skills from suffering, from going through pain until I was, until that summer when I was at Purdue and then that time when I was at Maryland. I didn't learn about myself by suffering through like tasks and stuff.
Sure.
If that makes sense. I really, really learned about myself whenever I was in a place of where I had to figure it out, or this is the only option, and I was in complete figure it out. I'm living off of the snack bar at the schools,
Sure.
Trying to figure out life at that point. That's where I got all my life lessons was. I mean, those time periods are essentially what shaped the last 5-6 years of my life.
You bring up a good point, and I try to articulate to folks, and I don't know if I do a very good job, but as you know, when we talk about the athlete's head, there's a mindset, there's knowledge, and then there's how they deal with people, with their teammates.
Yeah.
So even my mindset, hey, I'll work really hard and hit the soccer ball in the basement, or you're just going to work really hard at training.
Yeah.
You have this mindset to push and advance.
Yeah.
You're not afraid to keep moving forward. So that's critical, right? But then you don't know what to do. And if you don't know what to do, now you're just a hardworking person not making any improvements. And what Tony Robbins would say, hey, if you want to run really hard in a circle, you're still getting nowhere.
Yeah.
If you want to get up to see the sunrise, but you're always running west,
and
the sun comes up in the east, well, you just don't know what to do right. When I would ask my dad, so I made the freshman basketball team, and I'm like, hey, how do I get stronger? I'm tall relatively to some of these kids. So I'm starting to get pushed around here. These kids are strong than me. What do? I'm willing to do the work. And he simply said, I don't know, Jimmy. I think just do a lot of push-ups. I was like, that's it? He goes, I don't know. It's all, I guess. So I'll be doing push-ups. No pulls, no pull-ups, no lunges, no back, no squats, no nothing. And I'm like, well, that's all I know. So, just because you're motivated, then what? You need to have some knowledge, and apply in your trade as an athlete or a coach, plumber, doctor, whatever.
Yeah.
That's why the knowledge piece is, any one of these 6 factors, 3 for the head, 3 for the body, any one of them can push you very far. And also any one of them can hold you back all the way if you're completely missing one.
Yeah.
Right? You could stop dead in your tracks and not advance at all.
Yeah. That's one thing that, reflecting on my college career was I seriously lacked the mindset that we talk about all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I was really good at nutrition. I was really good at training, and I was really good at 1/3 of what we talk about. But the mindset part of it, and I don't mean just mindset, like I could go and attack a workout or attack it. You told me to do something, I can get it done.
Okay.
I could be on fire and suffering or whatever it could be. But the mindset mainly came from emotional maturity where I suffered the most, where I just couldn't, get that under wraps.
So you lose your cool, lose your temper, throw a big fit, throw a tantrum.
Oh yeah.
Coaches be like, hey, dude, what the hell go sit down. And we saw that when we were interning. So that maturity was, evident.
Yeah.
And then once that got fixed, hey, this isn't, this isn't the way. Then, next evolution.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anything really funny stand out? I always tell people if I would have taken a journal and wrote down all the funny instances in the gym the last 10 years, I think people probably wouldn't believe it.
Yeah.
A lot of the things, but these things are true. I'm gonna give you a couple, see what you think, and see if you have any along the same lines. I would ask some different athletes. So we're doing a 5K run or a 5K row. Each is a 5K, and I'll say, which one's longer? And they're like, I knew this one. It's got to be the row. The row's got to be long.
5K row or a 5K run?
I'm like, yeah, no, brother. Each 5K, they're both 5,000 meters. Oh, what? Really? Yeah, still the same distance.
Yeah.
I asked one guy. how many meters are in a 5K? I think it was million, right? I'm like, holy shit, no. It's 1,000. K's 1,000. A million. Can you imagine rowing for 1,000,000 meters? 5 million meters?
No, not gonna do it.
Dead. My favorite, and I doubt she'll be listening to this. I don't know if she listens or not. Great lady, great family. I just didn't know. Like you and I, we don't know what we don't know, right?
Right.
And she wanted to get better at pull-ups. So I'm like, okay, what can I do other than pull-ups to build up my back so I can do pull-ups better? I'm going to still do some pull-ups for chin-ups. I said, well, there's always those vertical pulls, pull-ups, and chin-ups. The horizontal ones build your back differently, bend over rows, things like that. What I would probably do is do some single arm rows. So that's
Okay.
8 to 12.
Mm-hmm.
Once you start on those, I'll be over there in a second, and I'll correct the form and go over it. And I look over at the dumbbell rack. It's not there. How's she going to do more here for the single arm row? And I look over on the rowing erg machine. The rowing machine, the erg, right?
Oh yeah.
And she's rowing with one arm on the erg machine. We're going to fix this real quick. No, that's not what I meant. There's no bad athletes. There's only bad coaches. So that's on me for not explaining it, right? So I was like, oh, man, this would be a funny story for a long time. And it's my fault, too, because I didn't explain it well. I liked when we had the linebackers on episode 10. They talked about they're messing with the teammates. One kid's taking a shit in the stall. And the other guy goes over and gets a trash can and fills and scoops out a big pile of ice in the trash can. Goes over in the neighboring stall, stands up on the toilet, dumps all the ice on the kid that's in the toilet down in the first stall. That's happened a few times. No one's gotten caught. So there's got to be a couple of jokesters in your life there, right? Right, Lucas?
Oh man, let me tell you, some are probably inappropriate, but we were at one point when I played football, when I was playing football in college, we had a wrestling ring out of practice one time, and the coaches aren't out yet, and we're all out there WWE wrestling.
No kidding.
I mean, it was people getting
body slam.
Oh yeah, it was. I mean,
clothesline.
Yeah, pretty much. That was a good time. That was fun. There was one time me and my roommate, he was a defensive lineman, and we were there was a chair out there by our practice field, and it was an old rusty up chair, and we were pretending like we were in the WWE, and he's hitting me over whatever, and our defensive coordinator comes out and he's like, "Put that chair up! You're gonna get tetanus!" and yeah, we got in trouble for that one. That was a good time. There's this one time me and some of my guys that we worked out together. It was senior year, and we're 2 weeks away from graduating, and Manchester's a dry campus. You're not allowed to drink, right? Yeah, dry campus. You can drink off campus, but you're not supposed to drink on campus. But we decided we're gonna do whiskey deadlifts. We call it whiskey deadlifts. We were just gonna
do a shot and then do a deadlift.
Yeah. Yep. And we max out
your deadlift or the whiskey shots.
Yeah.
Add weight each time.
Yeah.
That is death. That's terrible.
Essentially, it was just all. It was a good time. We got one dude. We're getting up to like 600, 650.
Were you guys doing this at the gym, at the facility?
Yeah.
Yeah. There it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
We had containers.
Yeah, you did.
So it was that was a fun time.
Our first strength coach at Unbreakable was Dustin Burford.
Yeah.
Good dude, knows his stuff, and we butt heads every once in a while.
Oh yeah,
logistical thing.
All right.
But when he first brought in student athletes, and he had this one kid he was training at night, and his name was Matt Thompson from Avon, He's a legit linebacker. He played D2 at UND. He also
Yeah.
got his MBA, doing well professionally, did well on the field in college. And he's starting off with these lateral box jumps.
Yeah.
So the box is set at 30 inches, and the box is on the side, and he's jumping up, landing on the box, and jumping down on the other side and going back. And then on the next set, he's jumping over and back over the box, not touching the box. Just completely clearing it, land, bounce back over, boom, boom, boom. I'm like, dang, that dude's
that dude's jumping.
That dude's an athlete, a middle linebacker, like 230, right? So fast forward a couple months, and now the group is growing. We have some other Avon kids there, and that Matt kid was home on break, so he's training with the group, having a good time, and with the high school kids. And Matt's, like I said, explosive, so what he can jump. He did this standing back tuck. So standing position, jumps up in the air, flips around, lands right where he was standing, flips backwards, lands right on his feet. Right.
Yeah.
Turns out he had a little bit of gymnastics as a kid, and in his power and leg strength and his core strength, he's able to do that. Right.
Yeah.
And before he did that, this other kid, the safety for Avon, Chaz something, I can't remember his name. He's like. They're jawing back and forth, and Matt said, I can do a back tuck and blah, blah, blah. And Chaz is like, you cannot. And so it's back and forth. Can you do this? Can you not do this? Matt's like, if I do this, you got to do it also. And Chaz is like, thinking that Matt can't. He's all in on that bet. There's about 6 other kids there. Dustin and Zane Fakes is there. Zane played football at Ball State. Now he's the assistant strength coach with the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah.
And so Zane coached with us as well. So there's Dustin and there's Zane, 6 of these kids, and then Matt and Chaz going back and forth. And there's me. I'm watching. Well, the session's over with. It's late. It's like 8:00, and so we're walking out. I'm just watching back and forth, and Dustin and Zane are egging those 2 kids on. We're like, yeah, let's go. Fuck it, let's go. Let's do this. Right. So Matt makes his bet with Chaz, and sure enough, Matt does it. Boom, no problem. Bam, sticks the landing, right up. Looks perfect.
Yeah.
And Chaz's face is like white, and his eyes are big. He goes over to Dustin, kind of with Dustin's like, dude, fucking bad. So
fucking bad.
They start with the social pressure. Talk about drinking pressure. There's no drinking in this instance, but they're all doing the one clap, all at once, clap.
Yeah.
Clap, clap, and then it starts getting faster, and it's clap, clap. Clap, right? Boom.
Yeah.
Boom, boom. So the whole crowd, the 6 plus Matt plus Zane and Dustin and me, we're clapping to get this kid to try this back tuck, right? And bam, he gets there. He tries to think about how he's going to think his way through it, and he jumps pretty high, flips over, lands on his belly.
Oh man!
He didn't quite face plant, but we had a mat there, so everyone was protected and all. And I was like, oh, okay, that's enough of that, I couldn't believe I had not laughed that hard since or before in years watching that, that whole scene unfold.
I got a good one for you. So it was my junior or senior year of college. It was spring ball. Spring ball was never fun. Spring ball was never fun because there was always snow on the ground and it's cold and muddy, wet. And this year we're doing Hell Week.
Yep.
It's old fashioned. We're going to be doing the dumbest stuff ever. So we're out there on the field, and every corner of the field is a station, and there's a station over here, and there's a station over here. We're doing like military stuff. We're all wearing white T-shirts because we haven't deserved to earn our jerseys yet, type of stuff.
Right.
So we're out there working. It's 5 a.m. in the morning. It's cold. I mean, it's miserable. It's not fun. It's miserable. And we're working through it. We get, I can't remember what we just got done doing, but we're making our way around, and it's mud. It's mud everywhere. And we get over to our defensive coordinator's station, and my buddy Kazi, if you're listening to this, man, this is for you. So we're the same position. We're playing linebacker, and my buddy Kazi comes up and he's like, "Dude, dude. I was like, you all right, man? I think I shit my pants.
Oh God.
And I was like, you shit your pants? You shit your pants, bro?
You don't know?
He's like, huh?
You don't know? Like, come on, kid. You don't know?
Well, he found out and he shit his pants.
No, but
And we're all right there. Like, you did not shit your pants. And he goes up to the coach. He's like, dude, coach, I've just shit my pants. And the coach is like, you did not just shit your pants. You didn't shit your pants, did you? He's like, I for real, straight up shit my pants. And he's like, well, go back in the locker room and take care of it.
God.
And he's wobbling off like he just shit his pants. We're all laughing our asses off, laughing at him and stuff. It was great.
No sense.
It was hilarious.
Now it's in there. Might as well just go and clean that out. Oh my God. Goodness.
Yeah, man. It's a good time.
Who else you listen to online? You listen to anybody else? Because we're running this show. You listen to anybody else that you like?
Podcast wise, I mean, Cody Hughes.
Okay.
He's I don't know if he's doing his podcast as much anymore, but he's a strength coach, high school strength coach that I follow. I bought a bunch of his material.
Okay.
He's pretty solid. I mean, way smarter than I am. So, he's out of Alabama. Watch him. SV. We've pulled up.
You check out like Zach Evanesh at all?
No, not really.
He's legit.
Let's see. Let me find it.
I like. I was on. We recorded an episode with Performance Talk on Saturday, a couple days ago.
Yeah.
I emailed them on LinkedIn and said, "Hey, I like your show. What's the application process for guests?" And they had me on, and I started learning about these two guys. One is a PhD, lives in Texas, but works with student athletes. His name's Buell, E-W-E-L-L. And then Chris is a kinesiology professor, exercise science, Drexel out of Philadelphia. And
Okay.
I thought that one was pretty decent. I think we're going to have them. We're going to record with them. Down the road. So that was actually pretty decent.
Here's a couple of the ones that I listen to. Andrew Huberman, I listen to him. Joe DeFranco.
Oh yeah,
Joe
yeah.
Joe DeFranco's Industrial Strength. The Les Spielman podcast. Lee Taff. The student athlete preparation podcast. That's Cody Hughes. Muscles and Management. That's Gary DeFlippo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He's a private sector guy.
He is. Yeah. Yeah.
Then it's called the CVASPS, the podcast.
Jeez.
The Jacked Athlete podcast. That's Jake Tura.
How about outside of the strength and conditioning world? Listen to Joe Rogan at all or no?
I listen to a lot of Joe Rogan.
Pretty good, right? Not bad.
Yeah. So I just like I like comedy. I listen to the Kill Tony comedy show.
I just turned it on this morning when I was warming up. They had Taylor Sheridan on.
Yep, just listen to that one.
He wrote, Yellowstone and a number of other episodes that were pretty good.
Yeah, just got done listening to that one actually.
You like it?
Oh yeah. Another one I listen to a lot of politics, man. So a lot of political podcasts I listen to. So I just won't get into that.
Doesn't this leave you kind of fired up when you're done?
No. Actually, I think that's a source of of unease and stress in my life is the amount of politics I pay attention to, and I don't like it. But it's just addictive.
Let's cut that out. I like Motiversity. It's not. They don't really have guests on, but it's I don't know, Sergeant Payne. I guess what it is. He's always just kind of screaming, but it's not about 7 or 8 or 11-minute montages.
Right. Yeah.
We'll have like a 30-minute collection of montages of those 7-8-minute bits. But it's all about motivational and they're screaming at you and stuff. So sometimes when I'm walking in the morning or on the way to the gym to train, I'll listen to Motiversity. It's short and sweet, but I like it. And then if I want more content, how to get better, Tony Robbins, Grant Cardone, those type of things.
Yeah.
Solid.
The one that I've listened to a lot lately, and this is it's called the Personal Finance Podcast. Andrew Gina Cola, something like that.
Okay.
Good stuff on just, creating wealth. I listened to a little bit of the Dave Ramsey show. It's
Dave Ramsey,
kind of boring.
Yeah, from
Pretty
beginning.
boring though.
It is, and it's like building that back squat. Those small gains and those small little basic boring habits. That's going to be king. How about I know you started reading a little bit more, right? Because for a while you weren't loving reading, but it seems like you're gravitating towards that a little bit. Anything stand out for you? I know we did a show on Atomic Habits. But
when it comes to reading books?
Yeah, some books or some things you like from that book.
One book that's always stuck in my head was like the first book I actually read in high school, front to back.
Okay.
And it was The Great Gatsby.
No kidding.
It's not a strength and conditioning, none of that. It's just a good book about 1920s, roaring 20s, and the American dream. And then watch the movie. The movie is fantastic, just how I pictured it in my brain. So
really, with Leonardo?
Yeah. As I was reading the book and then I watched the movie, I was like, dang.
All right.
I love that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. Atomic Habits and stuff. I honestly, I really enjoy reading like strength conditioning stuff. It's a lot of what strength and conditioning coaches read are probably the least applicable stuff because it's just not useless. It's not useful and practical for what a lot of times what you're doing in the moment with your teams and your athletes. But, Moving Over Maxes with Zach Dakin's a really good book. Kind of set the foundation for how I kind of program and think about training high school athletes.
So many of those high-level books, those graduate-level textbooks, Verkhoshansky's book, and so it's like, they want the acceleration, the speed, and the tendo unit to be at X. And it's like, okay, I get all that, and that's right with the physics. I got kids that, when you start at a young age, they can't squat without their knees touching. So, we'll get there. It's going to be 10 years. It's going to be 6 years.
Yeah.
So, the space I play in, I don't need that high-end stuff because we're not there.
Yeah.
There's some kids where we've actually progressed them pretty far, and we're like, oh shoot, we really need to rethink how we're training them. Yeah, there's a few of those. But the rest of the world, they sit all day long, their shoulders are forward because they're on their phones all the time. There's plenty of huge gains we can make with the absolute basics.
Yeah.
Right. I think the book, Mastery by Green, he lays out here. If you want to be a master of something, here's your process. If you read Ray Dalio's book on principles, the logo is this feedback loop.
Yeah.
How fast and how strong and how informed can get your feedback loop so you can evolve quicker. And then the approach by Tim Grover, who was on The Last Dance about Jordan.
Yeah.
His book's on winning and relentless.
Yeah.
You're not going to find better reads on what it actually takes. Now, mechanics, what do you actually do? Those aren't in those books. Mindset on Relentless, they're amazing. You want something on teamwork? Legacy, which by Kerr, it's all the All Blacks, the rugby team. That's going to be cool.
It's a good book.
One of the ones that you and I have been through, right?
We haven't talked about it, but we've not on podcast, but we've talked about it. I've read it.
That's absolutely going to happen.
You know what's interesting about that book though is some of the people in the book, supposedly some of that stuff is what am I trying to say? Not accurate.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, I guess some of the
habits or the practices of the team?
No, the people that were mentioned in the book came out and was like, some of that's not real.
I didn't know
that. Yeah, actually, Caitlin was the one that told me that.
There's plenty of awesome coaching and life lessons in that book. I wonder which ones are in dispute.
Yeah, might check it out because I haven't done a whole lot of research in it. Because regardless, it's still a fascinating book, and to be honest with you, it's the amount of success that comes out of there can't really be disputed.
No, winningest sports team in the history of the planet Earth.
Right.
Over 100 years, the team's been around, and they've won more than 75% of all games. That part's not disputed.
And it all started with mountain bike seats.
Right? So, yeah, the All Blacks and the rugby team for New Zealand. Check it out. I would tell you this. If you want a book that is going to make you happy, read Jesse Itzler's Living with Seal.
Yeah.
So that's the title, Living with Seals. Jesse Itzler, his wife invented Spanx. Jesse's one of the owners of the Atlanta Hawks. They're beyond wealthy, right?
Yeah.
And to work on his mindset, he hired a Navy SEAL to live with him for 30 days. And he chronicled what happened in those 30 days. It's absolutely hysterical. And you don't know this. You don't know who it is. But now you do, because when you look at the front cover, and if you listen to David Goggins at all, or you read his books at all, you start realizing Jesse Itzler was living with David Goggins, right?
Oh man,
so
that would suck.
This is years ago. This is before Can't Hurt Me came out, and David Goggins was even David Goggins, where he's actually known and all. So before that, and Jesse brought him in there, and so it's laugh out loud reading.
Really,
it's laugh out loud reading. I swear to God, there's a few lessons in there. Sure, that's fine, but you just read that Living with Seal. It's absolutely worth it. It's so funny. What is 2 or 3 bucket list sporting events you're like, man, I'd like to be there for that? That question, when I was writing it out today, thinking, like, what do I want to ask Lucas? And I had 10 answers immediately.
To be honest with you, I don't have a lot of sporting. I'm not a big. I don't religiously watch football.
Okay.
I don't really care to watch basketball.
Okay.
But if I had to pick,
just seeing the actual competition, like you're there and you're in this event.
Yeah, I would kind of like to go. I would say I would like to go watch some Olympic lifting, but Olympic lifting meets are excruciatingly boring.
Right.
So I wouldn't mind going and being like right there on the strongman deadlift.
At the Arnold?
I'd like to be right there.
Right.
And just to see how big these dudes are, and just to see what like that much amount of weight looks like.
Yeah.
I kind of always would like to go to the CrossFit Games, just because they look fun. They seem like a good time.
They look fun. I think the crowd's having a great time. You will see people in tremendous pain. You have to see them suffer. So if you're a bit of a masochist, that's going to go well.
I wouldn't mind going to that, and I wouldn't mind going to an SEC, like Georgia, Alabama football game.
Sure, right.
Something like that.
There's a few football games in college that are king. Ohio State, Michigan, Iron Bowl, Alabama, Auburn, the Civil War, Oregon State, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, Florida, the Great American Cocktail Party, Alabama, Georgia. All those games are going to be awesome. The Rose Bowl is amazing.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'd like to go to the Super Bowl. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I'd like to go to nationals for track and field, college.
Oh, yeah.
Out in Oregon, where Prefontaine was, where Nike is, Bowerman's from. Going out there where track is Mecca, and most people compete. Rugby World Cup, the last weeks of people from all over the world coming, big, huge monsters and fast people as well, playing football essentially with no timeout. That's going to be awesome. Both Olympics, I'd love to go to those. If I don't say College World Series, and my wife is listening to this, she'll be pissed, because that's her mecca. Going out to Nebraska, going to Nebraska, and having the barbecue and watching all the college dudes fight it out. And then there's this boat race over in England, where it's Oxford versus Cambridge, called the boat race.
Is it rowing?
It's rowing, yeah. It's rowing, right? 8 on 8. And the people that are in this boat from these two different schools are all Olympic level caliber.
Yeah.
And it's be all end all death or full on champion to the winner of that group. And there's a few books written about it. And so people will forego being on an Olympic team so they could row for Cambridge or Oxford. You see that. It's not that it's this race. It's that the distance is such. It's like the 400 in track. It's long enough that you got to hold it. You got to hold this high threshold of pain longer.
Yeah.
So, for context, a 500-meter timed row, 190.
Oh.
Right.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So that's standard. So as a time trial, when you see people really, it's everything. Usain Bolt said, "I spent 4 years for 9 seconds of my life."
Yeah.
These people spend 4 years, and do they even make a team? They have different levels on this boat race, and it's gone back over 100 years. So things like that, where you see the amount of work and effort and discipline and all these different factors, and who wins. Right?
I would like to go. Another one I think I would like to go see is some X Games stuff.
Right. In the winter.
Even though if it's just skateboarding and BMX, but I would love to go watch like the half pipe. If I'm gonna go watch something, I think it would be like the Olympic Games, the Winter Olympic Games.
Right.
That is.
All those things are going at night. You're outside. People are boozing it up, having a great time.
Oh yeah.
And then you're watching these amazing athletes do all these acrobatic things. It's not a word. Acrobatic things on the slopes.
Well, have you ever gone snowboarding or skiing?
No.
Okay. So let me tell you, I've gone. That's one thing I've loved to do that I don't get to do very often.
Okay.
Is snowboard, and I've gone 10 times before, so I've gone quite a bit. But when you get up, those things that you sit on the lift, when you sit on the lift, and you're way up there, dude.
Yeah.
Like you were so high. When you get to the top of the mountain, I mean, you are. I've never been to a big mountain before.
Right.
The biggest one I've been at was up in Michigan,
sure.
And I went down the Double Black Diamond.
Oh goodness.
Which is, I mean, it's vertical going down. It is, and the fact that these people are just going down. I mean, if you ever seen a half pipe, when you're at the top of the half pipe, I mean, it is almost like if you went down there and you would fall down.
Yeah.
Like you were like falling down the half pipe.
Right.
You're not sliding, you're falling because it's so
deep. The
slope is just so insane. So it's when you see that, and I've gone down a hill where it just seems like that, and that stuff just fascinates me because I don't know how they do it because it's just I don't know how you control that stuff going 70, 80 miles an hour down a hill, bobbing and weaving these flags, and when they wipe out, oh man, they wipe out.
Right.
Like it's incredible, and I would just want to go. That's what I would want to go watch. I think that's probably my favorite thing to watch. Honestly, now that I think about it, every time the Winter Olympics is on, I'm watching that.
Cool.
I even get into the curling a little bit.
Oh, that's just a drinking game, but not that I wouldn't do it. Right.
Right.
Yep. I just wanted to keep today light and fun. Have a good time. Yeah. Get to know you a little bit better, and let everyone that listens know us a little bit better. Put out some fun content, ask some stupid stories, and just have a good time.
Yeah.
For those that are following, if you want to ask us questions, info@athlete-builder.com. Send us your questions. We'll answer them on the air as best we can or respond back directly. And then always give us a follow on all social media outlets. Lucas, looking forward to next week again. Thanks a lot. I really enjoyed today.
It was a good time.
Love to do some more of these. These are a lot of fun. So appreciate you. Let's go out and have a good week, and we'll talk to you next time.
Yeah, for sure. Appreciate it.
All right.
All right.